So we're going to do more of the same where we're finding slope. The difference is, though, instead of seeing a picture where you actually like count and draw out the slope like you guys were doing, like this. Oh, thank you. So instead of like actually counting out the rise and counting out the run and looking at the actual picture, what we're going to do is we're going to find slope without the picture. And so it's going to give us the location of these two dots. It's going to tell us where these two dots are located, and we're going to find out the slope without doing without the actual picture. And to do that, we've got a formula. So remember, first off, just a quick reminder, for slope, we use the letter M. And we always say slope is the rise over the run. It's stuff we talked about yesterday. The rise going up and down, and the run going left to right. Well, on a graph, we label the stuff that goes up and down, or the stuff that goes left and right, and the stuff that goes up and down on those like important lines, we call them axis. We give them a letter, right? So the ones that go left and right, it's called the x-axis, and the ones that go up and down are called the y-axis. Yeah? You guys good with that? So another way to do this, another way people define slope is for the rise, they say, how much is the change in y? Meaning, how much did it change going up and down? That's what you guys did yesterday, right? You would count how much it changed from one to the other. So another way to say this is the change in y over the change in x. Well, in math, we've talked about this. I would guess that a lot of people would forget. But do you guys remember how we measure change in math? Like which operation measures change? Do you remember? Yeah, subtraction. Subtraction measures change. So another way that we write this out is we can write it out like this. Y minus y over x minus x. And let me explain this a little bit more now. This is what we're going to be, like the formula we're going to use today is this. The slope is the y minus the y over the x minus the x. This is what we're going to be working on today. And so I'll explain more of this now. So now we'll do our example. And I'm going to use a problem from the homework that you guys did last night. Like this one. If we look at it, the 2 points that are on here, the name of this point is what? -2, +3. So instead of actually graphing it out, here's our first example. You'd say, okay, there's a point at -2 and +3. And this other point is at +2, -5. Right, you see that? Right 2, down 5. +2, -5. Now, in these like little points, as a reminder, they write them out in alphabetical order. So this is the x, and that's the y, right? And then this is the x, and then that's the y. So what we could do, instead of like graphing them out and drawing a picture and counting it, we could just subtract the y's and put that in the numerator, and then subtract the x's and put that in the denominator. So let's do that. We're going to write it out, and this is how you're going to show your work. M equals the y from the first one, which is 3, minus the y from the second one. Now this is tricky. minus -5. What's another way to write out minus -5? Yeah, plus 5. Over, now we're going to do the x's. -2. Now with this one, would it be, right, minus the x from the other one? So that's just -2. Again, let me make sure you guys see where I got that. We did this, the y, 3, minus the y, -5. Well, minus -5 is plus 5. That's where this came from. That is the change in y's. And then the bottom one we did, or the rise. The bottom one we did the x's. -2 minus 2. That's where this came from. That's the change in the x's, or the run. So now we can just add them together and simplify it. 3 plus 5 is 8. -2 minus 2 is -4. And then we simplify it down. The slope is -2 over 1. Watch how this is the same thing as what happens here. See, look, we have 8 and 4. Look, if we count it, let's count. Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See, the rise is 8. And we have a rise of 8. And the run is, oh, where'd it go? There it is. The run is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The run is 4. It's the same thing. And then from left to right, it's going down, right? Little Maddox is going down the hill. It's negative. You're doing the same thing. You're just doing it without having to make a graph for it. Let's have you guys try 2 of them, and then we're going to talk about some like weird examples that could happen. So I'm going to have you guys do this. Another good reason why we do this is, like, let's say the numbers are really big and we don't want to take the time to graph all of this stuff like that. It will make things easier for us. Let's do this. Oh, no, that's fine. 60. There's 1. And then do go for it. Try each one of those out on your own. Yeah. All right, take a minute. Compare your answers with the people around you. It's okay if you're not done. Go for it. All right, let's go over this. We got y, 46, minus y, minus 44, over the x, 20 minus the x, 16. That gets us 2 over 4. You reduce that down 1/2. You guys good with that one? Any questions? No? We're good? All right. Let's do the second one. Y minus negative 1. How should we write that? Plus 1 over the x minus the x. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. And 8 minus 10 is also negative 2. Negative 2 over negative 2. You guys know what that becomes? Yeah, positive 1. You could write it as 1 over 1, or you could just write it as positive 1. So one thing to know when you're doing this, if you have a numerator and denominator that are both negatives, then it becomes positive, right? Because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. All right. We're going to do 2 more kind of weird examples. 3, 8, 3, 10, and we'll do these together. All right, and let's watch what happens with these. We've got the y minus the y, no big deal there, over the x minus the x. Well, that's going to get strange. 8 minus 10 is negative 2. 3 minus 3 is 0. That doesn't really make much sense. Right? You can't have negative 2 zeroths. Let's think of it this way. The rise is on top, so this line goes up and down, but the run is on the bottom. It's saying there is no movement left and right. What's that look like? A line that goes up and down, but not left and right. What do we say that slope is? So this is undefined slope. Because there's no run. Right? Remember we said it's the rise over the run. There isn't a run. It doesn't go left and right. All right, let's try this one. Y minus y over x minus x, right? Minus negative 5 becomes plus 5. This gets us 0 over 12. Well, this one, does it have a rise? Does it go up and down? Does it go up and down? No. Does it go left and right? Yeah, it does. So what is the slope of something that goes left and right, but not up and down? No slope, or you can have it as the number 0. Here's another way to think about this. You guys don't need to write this next part down, but think of this, like just think of it as a fraction, 3 0 and 0 thirds. 0 thirds actually makes sense. Right, so it's like you have something that's split into 3 pieces and all of the pieces are gone. You can have 0 pieces, right? Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Right, it's like they're all gone. There's 0 pieces of 3. Can you have 3 pieces of 0? That doesn't make any sense. That whole saying is like totally like ridiculous, nonsensical. You can't have 1 piece of nothing, much less 3 pieces of nothing. That's why this one is the one with the weird answer, undefined. So what you're going to be doing in this assignment is just what we did here. You're going to be finding the slopes, but you're not going to graph them out. You're just going to use this formula of y minus y over x minus x. Actually, we need to put one more thing on here. The normal way that this is written, and I want you guys to write this out just so you're used to seeing it this way, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Those little 2's and 1's they're like names. It's saying like the y from one of the points minus the y from the other point. all it's saying is like, and it's kind of obvious, you can't subtract the y from the same point. And when you do it, you have to like do it in order. So that's the normal way it's written. But like, I normally don't write them out like that because you don't really need to know. Like, it's just saying, make sure you like, you take them from this one goes to the first points, and then from those ones goes to the second. It's just saying, make sure you do it in order. You guys got that? Like, you can't just like randomly choose letters to put on there, is all they're saying. So that's why it's the normal way to write it out is with those little 2s and 1s.